Hey, this is James Pelton, and I'm back in the office. So it's good to be back. Good to have my normal computer, my normal internet, and just ready to go. So video today because they are launching baby bears tomorrow, but is Hive Investments. So I have an AMA with the team just to kind of check up on how things have gone since launch and what's going on their roadmap. They have a few new things that they have done. The first is this Hive Academy. So the Hive Academy has like courses, introduction to cryptocurrency, and then these first ones are free, and they're eventually going to have paid courses. We even talked in the AMA about potentially I'm putting together a training course and potentially putting that in here. But that's something that they've put together are some of these training courses. So if you're wanting to know about like TA, technical analysis, reading charts and trying to figure out what coins are going to do based on that, these courses have a lot of good stuff in them. And they're going to be adding more as we go. So then they've also added a NFT marketplace. And I've had a lot of projects that have talked about an NFT marketplace, but I was surprised when they just launched it. They were just like, hey, it's ready to go. And they have this NFT marketplace. They currently have Hive stuff, obviously. And then they also have Dominium. And they have a few other projects that they're looking to add also. But this is going to provide a lot of good utility for the Honey token. So like in the NFT marketplace, you can make an offer in Honey. So people can sell it for the Honey token. So again, all that's going to do is help keep that Honey price up. So then they're also launching these baby bears. Again, that's kind of the reason for the videos. These are launching tomorrow. Aren't they cute? But they have two bears. They're going to have a sitting bear and a standing bear. And the sitting bear, there's actually it's a 1 in 20 chance of getting a standing bear. So it's, and then let me show you kind of how the calculations work for this. So these were their first generation, the bees, and they cost 10 honey. And it was very low chances that you get a queen bee or a guardian bee. I think it was like 1.5% that you might get a guardian bee and 0.5% you might get a queen bee. So 1 out of 200 queen bees. But most of them got worker bees, which was this 0.5% a day. And so these were the numbers we're at in the monthly numbers. Sitting bears are going to be a lower entry point. So again, where it's $1,300 to get one of these bees, it's only $270. It's just 2 honey to get one of these bears. And you actually have a 5% chance of getting this standing bear, which is actually the highest daily percentage of anything that you can get. So I like that they offered a lower entry point. Again, $1,300 is quite a bit for people to get in. And then, if you put in $1,300 and you don't get one of these, you feel pretty bummed. But if you put even if you put $1,300 into these and you happen to get 1 or 2 of these standing bears, much higher return there. So if you're wanting to get involved, these launch Tuesday, April 26th, which is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Central Time, the true time zone of the world. So 7 o'clock, you'll just hop on their website. You're going to need some honey tokens. They make it real easy. You're just going to click buy, and then you'll need to connect to your wallet first, but then it'll just show you, hey, honey to Matic. So Matic you can buy at most places. So you can go buy that on KuCoin or Binance, I think, sells it also. Make sure you transfer it on the Polygon network. One thing I don't like about SushiSwap as much as you can't type in that you just want like 2 honey. But one thing you can do is you can reverse it and say, okay, if I was going to sell 2 honey, how much Matic would that be? So you can say, okay, 206.084. And then you can switch it back and then just put that in. And you'll probably need to go up just a little bit just to make sure that you get enough. So we'll say like 208.084 Matic, we'll say. But yeah, I don't actually have Matic in here, but then you just swap it and then it'll probably be here. We don't exactly know where it's going to be on the page, but I'm guessing it'll be like around here. They'll say mint baby bears. So anyways, here is my AMA with the team from Hive. All right, well, this is James Pelton, and I am here with the team from Hive Investments. Thank you guys for taking a little time out of your day. We had to move the meeting a bunch of times because I was busy and Colin was busy. And so I'm glad that we were able to get this all together. So thank you guys for being here.
Hey, man, third time's the charm. And as always, it's always an absolute pleasure to be on your channel here, James.
Yeah, appreciate having you. Would you guys want to just go ahead and again, I want you to imagine that my viewers have never heard of Hive. They've never heard of you because I have a lot of first time people and they always complain because I assume too much about their previous knowledge. So could you guys go ahead and just introduce yourself and give a little bit of your background?
Sure. So I'll start off here. My name is Colin. I'm the CMO of Hive. I'm one of the founders. I'm pretty well known at this point in the DeFi space. I am, Loki from Thor. I'm also the founder of a self-regulatory agency called the Union of Transparency. And I've been in crypto now, realistically, since late 2016. I'd say early 2017. Started off as an anon degen investor, hopping from project to project to project. Made a lot of money in the bull run in 2017. Cried myself to sleep in 2018. And then 2019, I think late 2019, early 2020 is when DeFi started to, actually become a realistic thing. And that's when I started delving, arms deep into DeFi. Learned a lot in the process, got burned a lot of the times, and have decided it's time to, start participating and contributing to this industry, and really help form the future of the evolution of DeFi and where it can go. It's really time for us to start cleaning up and offering reasonable, sustainable protocols that aren't going to encourage more and more degen behavior and more people getting burned from all the malicious acting that happens in this deregulated industry.
Perfect. First off, I'd like to start off and say thank you, James. Really good meeting you here. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to talk about Hive a little bit. So my name is Jerry. I'm also a founder of Hive. I've been in crypto for about since 2017. Same thing as Colin, just going to echo what he said. Cried in 2018. Started getting more involved, like a little bit more full-time over the last 2 years. Within last year, pretty much an anon degen as well. Got burnt many, many, many times, particularly with Ring, particularly with DAOs, particularly with everything. And that's kind of where we met Colin. So Josh and I met Colin during the DAO days, degenerating around the different DAOs, as you can imagine, before we really saw an opportunity within the marketplace, is where the evolution of Hive came.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. And nice to meet you, James. I'm Ethan. I'm the CIO, the Chief Investment Officer here at Hive. And my background's a little bit different from the traditional finance realm, specifically in the hedge fund and also like investment bank side, in terms of market making, high frequency trading in general, and some stat arb mid frequency strategies. So I'm trying to apply my knowledge from the TradFi space and my, long lost love of crypto since the early days of 2013. Just always my intersection of finance and technology. This is like the natural child of that, I guess you could say. So yeah, just love being in the space and really excited for what Hive has to offer.
Awesome. Well, it's nice to meet you, Jerry and Ethan. So I've talked with Colin lots of times, but it's nice to meet you guys and talk with you a little bit. So thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So would you mind just kind of summing up, one of you guys, whoever would be best equipped for this answer? But could you just kind of sum up the vision of Hive and what you set out to create?
Sure. So, I mean, the original concept of Hive came out from the initial DeFi as a service on roll. With protocols like Ring, that's where a scam, and of course all the other forks and different DeFi as a service protocols that came after as a direct inspiration from Ring. What we did is we really looked at the market from a macro perspective, and we realized that having a protocol and a node, especially a DeFi as a service protocol that's offering ridiculously high APYs, creates a continuous issue when it comes down to the aspect of sustainability. The only way for protocols that offer ridiculously high APYs to, stay in business is to really survive off of Ponzi-nomics while simultaneously trying to subsidize that with different utilities. And of course, that is a viable strategy, and it's something that has the potentiality to work. But it's also something that comes with an intense amount of risks because you're relying far too much on the buy-in pressure, and that buy-in pressure, of course, essentially just kicks the can down the road when you have these ever increasing of emissions. So from our perspective, what we want to do is we wanted to come up with what we're considering DeFi 2.0, which is, from the onset offering a realistic reward rate, and then utilizing NFT technology behind our nodes, quote unquote nodes, that allows people to have both a liquidity in their position, so there is no sunk costs or anything like that with our protocol, but also be able to receive a realistic rate of rewards every single day. So what we did is we've treated this almost from like a income property perspective. We wanted people to have a asset that's going to increase in value over time due to scarcity that also is simultaneously producing them passive income. And in order to achieve that, we started out with, not only realistic reward rates, but also a max cap in our nodes, where we only have 40,000 of our Genesis collection bees ever in existence. What that's allowed us to do is not really rely on Ponzinomics at all, and actually start to, understand exactly at max scale how much our emissions are going to be, how much the protocol prints out on a daily basis. And what that allows us to do is to build out utilities and revenue streams that, in more than enough time, before we start to reach a critical mass, to be able to earn revenue that supersedes the amount that the protocol prints out on a daily basis. That's really the unique position that us over here at Hive are in. And so, we're about 2 weeks out from 2 weeks after launching here. We've already launched now, and we've introduced two massive utilities into our ecosystem. One being our educational wing called, Hive Academy, where we have custom-made curriculums, educational curriculums that teach people about crypto, DeFi, investing, charts, technical analysis as a whole, and all of our introductory classes are all free, giving people that taste of income information and ability to learn a little bit more about crypto as a whole. But what we also have are custom made curriculums being built out for the intermediary and advanced levels. And both of those are purchasable either through our NFT holders through your native reward tokens or through our native token, all being that one singular token called Honey. The other major innovation and utility that we've entered into the ecosystem here is our proprietary custom-built NFT marketplace called Hexagon. So what we are is we are a Polygon-specific and Polygon-purposed built NFT marketplace. We really do prefer hot quality over quantity. We've come at it with a real qualitative approach, and we're also really pleased to announce that today we've just released our second collection, which is of the Dominion NFT project. I'm not sure if you've heard of them, but they are the most recent added collection onto the Hexagon marketplace, and we're currently in talks with multiple other projects on onboarding their collections onto our marketplace as well.
Okay, very cool. So you've been busy bees since we last talked. Very cool. I was also thinking, I'm working on a training course, so maybe we'll have to talk maybe about partnership.
We will more than happily talk about that. We actually have a few custom curriculum people for our curriculum. We didn't want to just take a lot of free information out there and then retrofit that and not really offer that clear value. So all of our course curriculums are custom made by professional copywriters, and we'd be more than happy to look at potentially a course that's featuring out James Pelton onto the Hive Academy marketplace that we also offer.
Okay, very cool. Very cool. Colin, one problem with AMAs with you is you answer all the questions in one answer for everything I was going to ask. You got it?
Well, if you want, I'm going to be a little bit more quiet because I am completely honest here. I am suffering from COVID still, and so I'm a little hopped up, and I'm trying to give my voice here a little bit of a rest. Hey, how about the next question? We'll make sure that Jerry answers, so I'm not the schmuck here that's answering everything.
Okay, well, I was going to ask, what have you done since launch? But I don't need to ask that anymore. How, from your guys' perspective, how do you think launch went? Did it go just as expected? Were there unexpected problems, or how do you feel like it went? Jerry or Ethan?
Yeah, not a problem. So as you could imagine, I probably wouldn't say it was the most expected launch, or as we expected. Obviously, with the glitch happening, wasn't an ideal situation. We were as shocked as anyone else, trying to get down to the bottom of it, what would have caused it, and obviously the effect it had on the market and obviously our community at that time. Being able to resolve that quite quickly and understand where it came from was super important for us, making sure that we could get those refunds out as quick as possible. But then since then, it's pretty much just been trying to improve on that and try to deliver on our utility and what we've been trying to do from the very beginning.
Yeah, I actually like to, as an investor, I like to see problems at the beginning because it gives you a real clear picture. First, how's the team going to handle it? Second off, is the community going to bail? Because that often, if there's a problem on launch, sometimes communities just bail. They're just like, hey, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so I actually, as an investor, I like to see problems at launch just to see, okay, this is a little, I know it's not pleasant for you guys,
Well,
But as an
it
investor,
was certainly stressful at the time. But having said that, when we made sure that we did our due diligence. So we had already gone through the contracts, with fine tooth comb. We had them penetration tested through Certic, and we had full Certic audits on all of our contracts. So when the event happened, we were aware that it's more than likely a glitch rather than a major mistake, an exploit or something like that. And so as soon as we discovered what the issue was, which essentially was with our sliding scale tax, we had one wallet address to our treasury that was not whitelisted. So when all those transactions came in, it just batch sent out and it went all directly right into our treasury. So what we did is we utilized, the money that was generated from that and from that glitch to not only make sure that we made everyone whole, and we took a snapshot of every purchase that was made prior to that event happening and reimbursed everyone down to a linear scale of exactly what they should be owed. So we made sure that people were whole, but what it also allowed us to do is it allowed us to have an extra kickstart on our investments. We were in a very luxurious position to where we had about $7 million in volume post 24 hours after launch, and we saw just under a 2x in our token price. That was all by design. We did not want to be one of those projects that have this meteoric rise up and then this huge crash right back down. And we didn't want to have that inherent volatility in our price. So we were actually very, very happy with what happened price action wise on launch. And what we've done now is, within 14 days, we've come out with these utilities, but we've also, are proud to announce that we have over $3 million now invested. So that's something that's pretty darn rare when it comes down to DeFi projects and DeFi as a service projects. And that, so what we did is we made lemonade out of the lemons that came from that situation, found out what the error was, fixed it right away, and made sure that, none of those errors could happen again.
okay, very cool. What have you guys done with the treasury?
Yeah, so we've had two investments so far, one of $2 million and one of $1 million. And what we did was kind of construct a series of 3 investment options and then provide a snapshot vote for the community to be able to vote on their preferred investment. And that was weighted by the number of NFTs each holder had in their unique wallet address. So that was kind of your access token to vote on the snapshot link. And so we've been investing in a few different protocols. A lot of stablecoin focused ones in order to build that kind of like baseline treasury that we can kind of use those yields for a variety of different purposes. And then a few different plays in some blue chips along with some more higher risk, higher reward, as they say, investments into a protocol called DopeX, which is a decentralized option exchange, but with a lot of potential for that growing market in general. So there's a lot of possibilities of things to do, and we're kind of trying to build that foundation with these first few investments.
And I just want to go in on top of that. The really cool thing and the reason that we can really focus in building this inherent base of stablecoin yields and being able to leverage stablecoin yields into our model itself is because we have this super inherent sustainable tokenomics. We don't come out with a 1% a day or a 2% a day or even a 3 or 4% a day. We come out with about a 0.5% in the way of return a day, which with what that happens and the opportunities that arises for us is that allows us to have a massive amount of runway for every single new B NFT being generated. And what that also allows us to do is have a very conservative approach in our investment strategy while still being able to maximize the amount of yields down to our emission rates. It's something that's very unique about us, and we're really, really proud to be able to bring this into the market and demonstrate that this is something that more rational and seasoned investors are ready for. Not everyone has to be that ridiculously high APY and have that here for a good time, not a long time philosophy. We're really trying to breed out that we're here for a long time, and that's why we're going to be offering a more reasonable rate of rewards in comparison to some of the other protocols that you may see out in this scene.
So for your marketplace, the Hexagon, what kind of volume have you seen so far? And are you bringing on new collections, or what's kind of your plans with that going forward?
Yeah, so when we launched our Hexagon marketplace, now we only launched it a few days ago, and we've seen over 200 honey. Each honey is it varies between 185 to about $210. We've seen about 200 honey being transactional volume on just our native Hive Genesis collection NFTs. But what we've also done is today is we've onboarded a brand new collection, being the Dominion NFT collection, which is a real income backed NFTs. Following a very similar structure to where we are. However, all of their NFTs are backed by mostly real estate and off-chain investments. We're really proud to welcome them into the Hexagon marketplace, and we're currently in talks with several other collections that we're looking to add on to the marketplace. From our perspective, and the real mentality behind Hexagon as a whole is to not necessarily follow that OpenSea or looks rare kind of model where anyone can list whatever they want on the marketplace. What I think happens there is it breeds a lot of under qualitative NFT collections. You see a lot of clip art, you see a lot of scams, you see a lot of things out there that aren't necessarily indicative of a high quality marketplace. So the real differentiating factor between Hexagon and say a OpenSea is that every single collection that's added on to Hexagon goes through our curated process. And what that does is that gives people a floor of inherent value that they know that they can feel comfortable, either purchasing one of the NFTs off of the marketplace, or utilizing their Honey rewards to purchase NFTs off of the marketplace. What we also have done is we've offered a few innovative features that have never been seen before on marketplaces. Of course, people can transact with our native token, and if collections do choose to use our native Honey token, they actually receive a 0% platform fees. So we obviously like to incentivize people utilizing our token as the transactional token. However, we do also offer transactions happening in both Wrapped ETH and Wrapped Matic. The beautiful thing about that is that it's essentially a win-win for us, where it doesn't matter if somebody chooses to transact in Honey, that's obviously buy pressure and underlining utility to our native token, or if they choose to transact in another currency, we do take a 2% platform fee, offering a revenue generation mechanism for our protocol. That, in addition to having an already pre-vetted, curated collection list on our marketplace, make sure that we maintain a certain level of quality there, and people can feel more comfortable, entering into new protocols that they maybe have never heard before, because they have that underlying basis knowing that it's not going to be a scam.
Yeah, I'm impressed. There's a lot of protocols talking about a marketplace, but then you guys that built it so quickly. I'm actually surprised.
I'm not gonna lie, it was not a super quick process to build. It's a significant amount of work that goes into a high quality marketplace, especially if you spend some time looking at our marketplace. We've really focused on having a really clean UI, really easy to understand UI, really pleasurable surfing experience on our marketplace. But the cool thing is Hive, because it's something that we've been working on for the past 4 months, we've been able to work on both our core protocol as well as some of the other utility features that we wanted to have immediately after launch. We've been able to work on these for the past months in the background. So it's just at the time now where we're able to kind of hit the ground running with not just Hive launch, our Hive Genesis collection launch, not just the Hive Academy launch, but be able to launch with multiple utilities in addition to our NFT drop, all basically simultaneously within weeks.
Awesome. So where do you see Hive in 6 months from now? So again, a lot of these node projects we've seen they've had like a 3-month kind of lifespan. So where do you see Hive in 6 months?
Well, the cool thing is about Hive, and the thing that really separates us about Hive, is we have a list of utilities that we've been quietly working on since before Hive being launched, and then hitting the ground even harder as soon as Hive has been launched. So we actually have a pretty consistent basis in which we're trying to unveil and offer more and more utilities behind our token. Our whole goal here over at Hive is to have a realistic reward rate, but then also be able to consistently offer utilities that essentially just has that rising price floor in our token action. We want our token to essentially be modeled after the Visa charts. That's exactly what we did when we were planning out our tokenomics and planning out our utilities behind our ecosystem. We wanted to basically have a token that's just basically going to continuously increase in value, and that value is increased only by new utilities being offered to the ecosystem. So we already have the next few sets of utilities that we're looking to offer. We know exactly what they are, and we're currently working on them right now. We're going to be very excited to be bringing them out over the coming months.
And they are.
We can't go into a huge amount of detail, as you can imagine.
I thought I'd just try.
We really pride ourselves on being super unique and bringing innovative, unique things to the marketplaces. Hexagon, while there's been other NFT marketplaces that have been out, there's several unique features about Hexagon, and that's the same thing for all of our utilities. They're very, very unique in execution as well as in thought behind them. So, we don't necessarily want to go into a lot of detail, but things like staking, a form of staking that you've never seen before, things like that, we're looking at the next parts of utilities that we'll be offering. But we have some very, very large ideas, especially over coming the six months to a year, on where Hive is going to go. And I can tell you right now, it's only going to be getting bigger. We also, have already announced our second collection that we're offering, which is this, we wanted to be able to offer entrance into the Hive, for as we call them, both large and smaller bees. Right now, in order to enter the Hive, you're obligated to mint one of our Genesis collections, which is 10 honey tokens, which is about $2,000, and not everyone has $2,000 to be able to enter a protocol. So we're very pleased to announce our Baby Bear collection, which is essentially same kind of income-based yield nodes, NFT nodes, but it's at a much cheaper mint price at about 2 honey, obviously with rewards that linearly scale down. So we want to make sure that we can simultaneously offer more entrances to people entering the Hive, while also ensuring that our emissions and our tokenomics all stay within reasonability and within our conservative methodology.
Cool. Well, hey, I'm very impressed. Kudos to you guys. Again, I consider all of these things kind of like economic experiments. And just from an outsider's perspective, it seems like things have pretty much played out the way that you guys expected them to. So it's cool. It's cool to see that so far it's working, and really excited to see, just how you guys are able to continue on and get your vision, keep it going as time goes on. And I'm hoping that this is a passive. I'm hoping we look at 3 years and my bees are still making honey. And
Well, that's the entire purpose, and I think what we're seeing now in the market is that we're seeing the oversaturation of really cheap DAOs, or really cheap DeFi as a service protocols. What protocols that don't necessarily have a long-term mentality thought out, and a lot of thought that goes into their tokenomics. I think we're going to start to see a lot of them start to fail again. And what that does is that offers a unique proposition, to where people are going to really start to understand that the super high yields are inherently unsustainable, and it doesn't really matter what that protocol does. They're never going to be able to sustain those super high yields. What that's going to happen is, I think people are going to see over time, and they're going to graduate and start gravitating towards much more realistic APRs, much more realistic rewards. And I think that that's just going to have more and more legitimacy and foundations towards the Hive, from the long-term perspective. The great news is we have multiple years worth of utilities already planned out, already thought about, already tested, already modeled, and it's right now just a process of being able to work and continuously bring them out on a very consistent basis.
Well, very cool. Well, thank you guys for coming on. Before and after the video, I'll kind of show people how to get in, and I'll give them a spreadsheet with the returns and all that. So I don't need to take your guys' time for that. So.
Oh, you're the best. You're a killer. I love you, James.
Yeah,
Really
no,
appreciate your time, James.
Yeah, no, I really, I just want to help people. I want to help people make money in this space, and it's just that it's been hard, I think, for a lot of people recently, especially just to make money. I mean, they just.
It's a difficult market. It's a difficult market, and the cool thing is when new innovative ideas come out, I think that's really what separates the cream from the crop, right? And what happens always with these kind of protocols, and when a certain niche within DeFi starts to become oversaturated, is we see a lot of die off of the protocols that have not done the due diligence, have not done the work, have not done the thinking behind their protocols, and then we start to see what protocols are going to be there for the test of time. And I'm very, very excited, and I absolutely think, without a question, Hive is that one of those protocols that are going to be here for years to come.
Actually, yeah. Can you tell me about the bears?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you want to go into the tokenomics as well as the mint chance, and the gamification elements that we've been adding to this minting, to really, demonstrate how exciting this is, and a fantastic entrance for people who maybe don't have a couple $1,000 to throw into a protocol, but a couple $100.
Definitely, yeah. So the mint cost, as opposed to our 10 honey for the Hive Genesis collection, this will be 2 honey for the baby bears, and there will be a 95% chance to mint a sitting bear, which gives rewards of 0.008 honey per day. And there's a 5% chance to mint a standing bear, which gives a reward rate of 0.05 honey per day. So that's roughly equivalent to what you would get from the common collection in the Hive Genesis collection, but basically for a decreased cost. So you have that kind of gamification aspect where there's 95% chance you're just going to get like a regular bear as expected, but there's that 5% chance that you could really make a great ROI and almost immediately, basically, and get that standing bear.
Okay, very cool. So this is basically, it's going to be similar to the bees, but this is like generation 2.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
you can think of the baby bears as the opportunity to enter the hive and have that same experience of one of the bees at a much cheaper rate. Obviously, you have a 95% chance of earning, a scaled down version of the rewards. Inherently for our protocol, we need it to be sustainable and we need the emissions to be under control. But however, with the gamification process that we've added, you do have that 5% chance of minting a bear that's going to produce the exact same returns that a worker bee that would cost 10 honey to mint would be to achieve. So we really hope that serves the incentive for people both large and small to be able to enter into the secondary collection. And then of course, utilize secondary collections on our native marketplaces as well. You've been a fantastic ally of ours, James. We always have me and you, we always have had a great relationship for a very long time now. We've known each other for a very long time.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what was the mint price on the baby bears?
Mint price is going to be 2 honey. So it's about 5 times cheaper than what the Hive Genesis bee collection is, with a 5% chance of earning a bear that's going to produce the same amount that a worker bee produces from the Hive Genesis collection.
Okay, very cool. I think people will be really excited about that because I think, well, especially now, 10 honey is quite an investment for some people who are just wanting to, dip their toes in. So.
Well, we've been we made it very clear, especially with the process of the protocol coming out and before launch, that this is a protocol that's designed for both big bees and small bees. We want to be able to offer entrances to the hive to bees of any single size. And so what we did for the Hive Genesis collection is offer the chance for the bigger bees to be able to enter the hive. And now it's about time for us to offer that same opportunity to the smaller bees. And we're really looking forward to welcoming them into the hive into the community as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys. Thank you for coming on the channel. Thank you for everything that you do for the DeFi space. I appreciate it. I think the space as a whole has been kind of shaky, so I appreciate what you've done with the protocol and with helping out with the Union of Transparency stuff. So appreciate all that, and I hope you feel better, and hope all of you have a great evening.
Awesome.
You too, James. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep.
You too, Jay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night. I hope you enjoyed that AMA. I always have a good time with Colin and the team. Later this week, I should have a video, a new blueprint from 10K. So like if you had 10K, here's a blueprint of what you could do with it, and potentially how long would you need, what returns to retire. So keep your eyes out for that. But yeah, thank you everybody for your support, and have a great rest of your day.